Hey y'all, welcome back to another video with laugh, gags, and gossip. Now let's get into the mess. Hey LGG family, it's the top of the week and I hope for the rest of the week you are planning something special for yourself and you're going to go out there and manifest some cool ass shit. Yes. But anyway, this is part 2 of the interview that I did with Demetrius Smith, who is currently giving his testimony on the R. Kelly trial, and he is being cross-examined today. So go ahead and check out the video. And like I said before, don't leave in the comments about, girl, you overtalked the man. I know. Okay. All right, you guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Because next time I come to pick her up after I know he'd been with her all day. And she was over 18. And he come, and her name was Shannon. Shannon in South Bend, Indiana. So if she hears this, Shannon, get in touch with me. And and Shannon stayed in that room when Robert. I came back for her, and she, no, I'm gonna stay. He's cool. He said, I'm gonna stay tonight. I'm gonna stay up here, and we're gonna work some more later. I said, Shannon, you need to leave. We need to leave. We need to hold. We need to take control of it. You need to touch me. She didn't, and so it went on for weeks, and she stayed in that room. But that was her choice. He talked her into it, and she fell for him, and, you know, you believe that you're going to get this and that. I did the same thing for years. I was with him before he made it. He didn't produce one song on me. And Robert told me many times, man, keep sweating him, man. He got nothing on you. Marvin Gaye them can't touch you, man. But he didn't produce it.
Let me say this. That's why I think your story is compelling, is because even though these ladies have a story, some of them were with him for a year, 6 months, 8 months. You were with this man for 10 years, so I know you have to know. Let me ask you this: when did you see? Because we talked about this. I want you to talk about the sex me when you. I don't have my.
No, I'm talking to my friend.
Okay. The sex me. Tell me about the sex me when you saw the change in him.
Again,
and then we could wrap up.
I didn't know what I was looking at when we were in Detroit, when Robert came to me with videos. And these were not videos of little girls. These were videos that he had took having affairs with different women that VCRs that just came out when Robert got his deal. He bought him a camera, and he went crazy with taping everything around him. But he didn't tape us. He taped what he did behind his closed doors. Robert bought nothing but, all while we was on the road, Robert, every store we went to, Robert bought pornographic tapes.
Was he a sex addict? Sound like a sex addict.
A sex addict. He's possessed by a sex demon.
Sounds like it.
Nothing else destroys the insides of you more than sex.
Okay, talk about that sex me. Talk about that sex me song. Tell me about that.
When he brought me the videos, we prayed. Because he said, I feel like this is going to destroy me. Robert felt this early in his career.
Wow.
I'm talking about this is when we met Aaliyah. This is when we met Aaliyah, that he bought a tape, and we were in Detroit and staying at Barry Hankerson's house. And he told us that. And he came in my room that night talking about this tape and how tapes had a control on him. He felt like it. And so we prayed. And that's what I thought prayer was. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just felt like prayer was what we supposed to do. That bonded. Yeah. Because Robert is very spiritually. Now, that was in Detroit. I didn't know what we was doing. I didn't know where I was at. That, again, is inside the book. Now, when we go to Sex Me, that song came up where I said, man, Mom don't want me to do this song, man. I kind of don't want to either, John. This song is, man, it's deep, man. It's got something. It's like, man. And I said, well, Rob, don't put that song out. I said, because I ain't going to let my daughter sing Sex Me, Rob. You see? I didn't have to do anything, but again, my daughter was here then. But and that brought Robert, that brought controversy, that song, and I really didn't want him to put it out because Robert was writing different songs than he wrote when he met me. See, when I had Robert under my wing, he was writing different. I got songs right now that Robert wrote back in the day that nobody never heard. You know?
Wow, you should put them out. I'm sure people want to hear.
No, I can't. Those are his songs. I know. Those are his songs. Okay. I'm not trying to do that.
But the Sex Me song, you say
the Sex Me was a demonic song. It was a demonic spirit. Everything about it was demonic, and it created That's when he came out. That's when he came out. Now, again, I left him. I got another time that I could tell you that I saw this beast. I heard him right here. And that was when I got to get out. But that's what we were in. I had left him in 95, and I stayed gone for about a year and a half. And Daryl McDavid called me and said, man, Robert wanted to see you. And because, again, man, Robert had a bond, man, and I made things happen for Robert. And when Daryl called me, said meet him. I went down to the studio to meet him. And again, that same girl that was in that I Wish video was in the studio. And she was laying on the couch giving them some head. When I walked in that studio. I mean, just casual, like, not like freak, like, you know, they was just like casual, just like you laying there looking at a movie, eating some popcorn. That's the way she was with him. You know, and I'm like, hold on, Rob, man. Hold on, Rob. I ain't coming for this, man. Come on, man. Because I just got saved. Saved in church.
Right, you must be all that.
I was at the Greater First Baptist Church in South Chicago, Indiana. My pastor gave me the back of the church to live in with my children. I had 4 children, single man, and I went down to meet Robert that day. And Robert, I met him, and then after that, we talked, and he let me hear a few songs. I forgot the songs he let me hear because they later came out. But then after that, I left because I was uncomfortable with this girl, and they're giving him that. And then he got to show me a few songs. After that, I was ready to leave. He said, I want you back, man. And I told him, man, and he had to pay me because if he didn't pay me, he wasn't going to let me work. You see, if he give me a little bit of change, then he going to want to control me. But if he paying me big money, then he going to let me do what I'm supposed to do. And,
so
he said, man, you're going to have to start over. It's like you have to start over. I have to gain your trust again. I'm going to where you want me to go. Let me go. Let me go where you want me to go.
You told me you have to go. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I'm talking about let me finish and take you where you asked me to go. You asked me about the game, and I'm going to take you to the restaurant.
Yes. Okay.
Just take you someplace before that. Now, when I left that night, and then Robert called me back again and told me to meet him down at Wacker Drive at a big health facility on Wacker Drive downtown. I went down there. It was a crowded facility. Robert was in the back. Robert was sitting at a table, and I sat at the next table because he had 2 women with him. The women, one was looking at me smiling and like, who is this and that? And Robert looked at me like maybe I was flirting with them. So he jumped up and said, let me holler at you, man. Let me holler at you, man. And so as we walked toward the bathroom, again, this is a crowded facility. And we walked toward the bathroom, and we went into the bathroom. People was coming out. And once we got in there, I said, what's up, man? And he said, man, the Spirit of the Lord is on me. And I started praising God because on my way there, I had been praying that Robert let me do my job with him if he wanted me to work with him. Because I wanted to stop, you know, all the backstage. I wanted us to grow up. I wanted him to grow up. And it's like who was that I saw? I saw a video the other day with Jay-Z. He is so cool. And he said about the Born into Both, the Both Worlds.
Yeah, tour. Best of Both Worlds tour, yes.
And Jay-Z said he blew an opportunity. It was an opportunity there to really have something special. And that was great. That was great. That was what Robert has blown a lot of opportunities. And so when we got in that bathroom, he said, the Spirit of the Lord is on me. And so I prayed. And I thank Jesus for this, God. I said, Lord, He's going to let me in. He's going to let me in. We're going to do this holy thing. We're going to raise people. We're going to be, because I feel like an attorney being out there with all those people, he's got power.
Yeah, you have a platform.
Right, he's got a platform. So Robert, we started praying together. And next thing you know, we both speaking in tongues. I'm talking about, man, speaking in tongues in such a way, it was like lovely, man. It just felt wonderful. It felt, and I listened to Robert speak in tongues, and I was like, at all, because I had never heard nobody speak in tongues like him, and it was like a real conversation.
Wow.
That he was talking to someone, right? Now, we both did this, and I feel joyful. And next thing I know, Robert is backing up into a stall, to the toilet door, and the toilet stall door closes. Bam! And the toilet stall closes. I'm looking like, huh? And then all of a sudden I hear another voice, and it's, and I got scared. Yeah, it was a demonic voice, and I got scared. And when Robert, he did that for a few minutes. Again, we were in this bathroom for about 30 or 40 minutes, and nobody came in there. Nobody. And then when Robert came out that stall, I asked him, and he looked tall. He looked different.
Wow.
And he looked tall. He stood up. He's like, I said, Rob, what was that, man? He said, oh, man. And basically all I saw was his back. I didn't see his face no more when he came out that stall. And so he walked in front of me. And I'm like, Rob, what? He didn't really talk. He said, oh, man, Spears is heavy, man. And he kept walking. And he's been walking ever since. And then, now to let you know this, I told my bishop about it, Bishop Tavis Grant. And he can witness that. I'm telling you the truth. I told him about what went on in that bathroom. And he said, I ran across a heavy spirit. And he said, we're going to have to pray over you because an ounce of fear will let that spirit in you. And it did. Because after that, I started having different affairs at church that I had never encountered. I mean, people were just coming. Women were just coming at me. It was like, it's like spirits that recognized each other, and they were coming out of those people. That sex demon, it was coming, and I was having sex with several women at the church, and it bothered me because this was not. It was new to me. Not that I didn't have sex, but I don't spread myself thin like that. And it was beginning to get fun. It was possessing me. Everywhere I walked, I felt horny. Everywhere I walked, I felt like I was having sex. I felt I was in that mode, but yet I wasn't with anybody. So that spirit
R. Kelly spirit is deep. That's
it ain't R. Kelly spirit. That R. Kelly spirit. You're exactly right. That demon in him is strong. And and then at that time I was called by Barry Hankerson, and I was having trouble because at that time that videotape came out of Robert and that little girl. And Barry called me and asked me if I wanted to. He was glad to hear from me and asked me if I wanted to work with Background Records, and I did because I wasn't really working. And so he allowed me to work at Background from my house at church, and later brought me to L.A., and I was in hopes that I was going to work with Aaliyah again, and she died on that plane. And
Demetrius, let me ask you this: did you testify at the trial?
No.
Okay.
No.
I know you said you have to go. So, do you have time to answer a couple more questions, or can I do a part two with you? Okay.
I got it. I'm comfortable. I really want this to get out and respect.
What I need you. Okay. So people are saying that you made a comment about R. Kelly wanting to sleep with you. Now, clarify that. Did you say that?
I did. I'm sorry I said that. I meant it I felt like Robert meant it in a joking way. You see?
Okay.
I mean, it's like me and I got friends and we go out on a weekend. When me and my friends, when we were younger, we would go out and they had streaking. People were streaking.
Yes. I remember
running
that,
across,
yes.
and my friends did that before. That's all that was to me. And when the guy asked me, I'm going to remember his name because I will never talk to him again because that was low down. He talked about so many other good things. It's just like Lifetime. Lifetime talked about, they asked me some of those same questions about Robert, and they didn't put none of those things on there.
So when Lifetime approached you, you didn't know that they were building a case about his sexual misconduct in this cult?
No, I did not. I did not.
Well, that's important.
And I was not knowledgeable enough to ask them to let me see this before they aired it. See? And I felt like they should have gave me a ticket to come down to the preview as well. But they didn't.
You didn't get to go see the preview?
No. I didn't know anything. I did the interview, and they congratulated me, say how great it was, and they made me look bad. But I'm not mad at them because the truth has to come to the light.
I don't think you look bad. I think I didn't get that you look bad. I felt that you spoke your truth.
Well, Google my name. Comments, so people call me a bunch of everything, but they don't know that I was not with Robert at this time. But again, those girls that were on that panel, they know what they were. Robert was not Robert is some people call him, Robert was a gentleman with women, and I know that, and he will soften them, and he's kind to them, and he gives them what they want. So he's the kind of man that wants to be in control. He wants to be the head, and here's a head that's not fully functional. That's all I got to say. And not this. I don't know the medical term to use for his condition, but he has a deep condition, and it deals with his molestation as a kid, and it deals with the pedophileness, and it deals with his illiteracy.
Demetrius, I think the medical term people are using right now is pedophile. That's the first medical term.
Well, you got to look at a pedophile. When a pedophile is a person that, I mean, if a person is a pedophile and he likes kids, that's who he likes.
Yes.
Right? Now,
yes.
Robert is a person that's illiterate. Robert is a person that's been through abuse, and Robert don't like kids. The older Robert gets, the older his women get, because that's the mentality. Right now,
so Robert might be like a 19-year-old.
Robert might be 22 years old in the mind, so he can deal with a woman that is 18, 19. You see?
Wow.
They say a woman is faster than a man thinking, right?
Yeah.
That's what they say. A woman is faster. So
it sounds like you sound like he has arrested development, like he got stuck mentally and emotionally in his teenage years for some reason.
Well, Robert is molded. Robert is made. He's a person that has a gift. That is, his gift it looks like an anointing. It's a really a miraculous thing for a person to be able to live what he does and sing it the way he does. That's his conversation. If you look at his interviews. His interviews are singing. That's how he talks. That's how he describes himself, and how he does that. It's put inside of him. See, but his songs are his spirit. You see, that's the only thing that escapes out of him that's good. Everything else is the ugliness.
It sounds like a gift and a curse, but you touched on something else. We talked previously. I mean, we've talked a lot now, so I'm probably not asking you everything because you told me so much. But one of the things we talked about, I said, well, is this Illuminati? Because it sounds so weird. But you made a point about, I want you to talk about him, the man, like if he were more dead or alive. You said he's in a dangerous place right now. Can you elaborate on that, what you mean? You mentioned that before. I thought that was really good.
Well, that's my opinion, and I think that he is in a dangerous place. I think that he is in a dangerous place because the judicial system has found him not guilty, and the people have found him. The people are asking him to answer, and he is not. Therefore, it's like. I told you I'm spiritual, and I read my Bible a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Like when it comes to Jesus, and they took Jesus to Pontius Pilate, and he said, "This man has committed no crime. We find him not guilty. And what do y'all want me to do?" And then the people crucified Jesus. And see, that's the same. I mean, we all walk in biblical ways if you understand the Bible, and because. I don't want to go spiritual on you, but we all walk in biblical ways, and Robert Kelly is being, I am not condoning, please, I want y'all to understand me, man, because people are saying a minute, he's loyal to the, I am loyal, and I do have a history with Robert Kelly, and two things in life that never change, love and the truth, they do not change. I do love Robert Kelly, because I do have a history with him, and I do want the best for him. And right now, for me, in my opinion, the best for him is to talk to somebody professional. Now, he has to be willing for that. He has to be willing. And I would love to sit and talk with Robert because of my history with him.
Yes, and your history.
How I am with him is different than anybody that he's associating with. And I know that.
So you want him to get help. That's what you sounds like you're saying.
I mean, you already found him not guilty, so why y'all bothering him on that? We all should have whooped his butt a long time ago for things he'd done to us. You see, I should have whooped him when he crossed me, but he was a young kid, so I blame that on the older one. Earl should have kicked his ass for messing with his wife. I should have whooped his ass when Tiffany told me that he did that. He don't get no punishment for nothing, then you ain't did nothing. Then
what about
okay.
What about Aaliyah's uncle?
I felt like, again, when it comes to Aaliyah, and I did take her to get an ID, I knew that there was something coming after that when Robert married Aaliyah. he wanted to go in the back and say bye-bye because we had to go catch a plane. I didn't allow that. I didn't care if he was married. I wasn't going to stand by and watch him sleep with her. I wasn't going to do that. I would like to give her a hug and kiss, and that was it. And we left. We got back on that plane, and we went back to where we were performing at.
Yeah,
and when we got back there, I was disappointed in Robert because it was another thing that he did not do in honor of Aaliyah. You see, you just got married, man. You see, you did a dumb thing. Now you should stand up on that. See, if you did that for this reason, why aren't you standing up on it? Robert doesn't have any shame in what he's done, and I'm not upholding him for that.
You brought up a great point. People are saying, now this is something I really would like for you to address. People are saying that you said he married her because she was pregnant. Did you say that?
Yes. I was on the plane, and Robert, I was disgusted when, we were doing the show when he told me, he said, man, Aaliyah in trouble, and we got to go to Chicago. And I told him I was going to call Barry. He said, man, please don't call Barry. We can't call Barry. Now, granted, I've been with Robert for 10 years. I just met Barry. You see?
Okay.
So
yes.
I want to hold on until Robert tell me what's going on before I call Barry. That's why I didn't call Barry.
Yeah.
Now, he still didn't tell me. The show went on for an hour, so I'm doing my after-show things, picking up the money, getting everybody settled because I'm not going to be here for the next set, for the next place we're at, so I got to make sure that's all ready and gone. And then when it's 5:30 in the morning, we got to get on this plane, you see. So now I'm like, whoa, man, I'm so tired. I ain't had no sleep in 3 days because Robert worked the hell out of me, man. You see. And Robert worked the hell out of me, man. And then I get to the next city, Chicago, 5:30 in the morning. I go meet with Daryl and them, and they talking about what they want to do. And I'm like, man, y'all can't do this, man. This is not the thing to do. Let's call Barry. I should have just called Barry and say, man, we in Chicago with Aaliyah, man. They talking about marrying her, man. That would have stopped it.
Yeah, it would have stopped it, yes.
That would have stopped it. You see, if she was pregnant, then all that would have been. That's why I felt like Robert should have been more. He should have. But I went along with them because I just didn't think they was going to go through this, man. And then they kept developing. And next thing you know, they did this. And when I think about Aaliyah, I smile or I'll cry every time.
Yeah.
Because Aaliyah was a joy to me. Every time I think about Aaliyah, I see her smile, and she was always fun. She was a fun little girl. Her smile was large, and she was youthful, and she was expressed happiness. She was happy, and her and Robert, and when they used to go together, they were happy. Her mom's with her, or her dad, or her brother. I've never seen Aaliyah. I don't remember a time when Aaliyah was on the tour bus with us. I just don't remember that. And Earl said that Robert had sex with her. They didn't tell me that. Had they told me that, I would have acted on that, man.
That's like kids keep a lot of stuff. You were probably the parent figure, and kids do things that they don't let you know. That's with anybody,
They began to take, and when Robert took his boys on the road, I had a talk with every one of them that grew up with him. Tori, Mouse, everybody that hung around, and I told them on the road, hey, man, we can't do this, man, because there's too many young girls, and you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that, man. Let's raise ourselves up into a professional way. And they agree with me. Next thing you know, Robert got a new set of guys on the road because he's not paying nobody, so we can't go. The other guys couldn't go with him. One guy was his stylist who was his friend. Robert didn't want to pay him. He couldn't make it on the road with $250 a week. And now you get a professional stylist and you're giving them $1,500 a week when your boy is a top dresser. You see, when your other friend, Robert has hurt some people. And those parts, we all let him get passes with. And that hurt him.
Sounds like he's hurt you, too. Sounds like he's hurt you, too.
He's hurt me a lot, man. I gave him, it was my fault. And just like those girls, they had the same opportunity to leave. I stayed in the same situation. But I didn't stay in rooms. I locked my career up, man. I could have been a hell of a singer, man. I still have a voice. It's not tuned, but I was competition for R. Kelly, and Robert Kelly is a jealous person, man. Just like him, just a whole lot. I wrote a whole lot in that book, y'all. It's a good book. I've gotten great comments on it, but people are judging me before they read that book, and it's not to discredit. It's not to hurt R. Kelly. And when I wrote this book years ago, Tom Joyner, Steve Harvey, Wendy Williams, all those shows had it because Fox News did a big article on it. And They did not recognize it because that was a time to watch Robert and to help him. That's all it was. It was to help him, man. I've never sought to hurt Robert Kelly. I'm not trying to hurt him now. I don't condone what he's done, but I understand what he did.
You understand?
I understand him as a person. See, I look at people from a different way that you look at them. See, I see people. I've been locked in. I did 5 years, 4 months, 63 days inside the Solano State Prison in Los Angeles. When I got out of there, I lived on the streets. See, because I didn't have a way, and I didn't have no money, and I ain't had no support. Ain't nobody helped me with nothing. Robert Kelly ain't never did nothing for me. Okay? Nothing. But discredit me and dishonor me and show me no loyalty.
What would you say to him if you could? What would you say to him? We're going to wrap it up here because you have given me a lot of your time, and I appreciate you. I'm not going to edit this. I'm going to put it out there raw because you got to say some things that you wanted to say. What would you say to R. Kelly or Robert Kelly? Which one would you talk to? Would you talk to Robert or would you talk to R. Kelly? Let's say that. And what would you say?
I would love to go and talk to R. Kelly. I would love to go and meet with Robert, R. Kelly, because you got to get to Robert through R. Kelly now. And see, if I could sit down with R. Kelly, I can touch bases with Robert because that demon know that I heard his voice. He know that I know he's existing, and I know how strong he is. But see, that same strength that he has, that same strength is in me on the other side. See, me and Robert were. God don't do nothing for nothing, and He don't put nobody in your life for nothing. It's to grow from, and it's just like marriage. I want to say something about Andrea. I'm disappointed in Robert because of the way his family is. I love his family, and his family don't know him. And he's the head of his family, but don't know how to be the head because nobody's helped him. And when it comes to Andrea, his wife, I just don't think, I have never been married. And I don't think, and if I was a young guy and I saw a woman on TV talking against her husband, her ex-husband like that, I would be afraid to get married because I think that what you do in the household and marriage should stay in there. I don't think that you should be able to come out and talk against your husband and tell what you went through with him and not tell the whole truth. And if he was so terrible to her, I think that she should have called the police and had several records to show how abusive he was. And to the other girls, I just think that y'all were talked into a web that had control of your mind, and you wanted that limelight. You wanted to be a star, and you took your focus off of yourself, and you gave it to a man that was not used to doing things and not used to having power, and he learned how to have people under him, and he grew into having that control. If I was a rich man and had a lot of money and was a big star, if I met the right one woman, that's who I would be with. But if I didn't, then I wouldn't have no little girls. I mean,
he manipulated a lot of people.
Yes, he manipulated them. That's the devil's job. Yeah. That's the devil's job. Robert ain't smart enough to be doing what he's doing. He's got to have an assistant, and the things that he are doing are beastly. Now, I'm not saying what he's doing behind closed doors with them girls in bed is a terrible thing. I mean, people do different things back in the bedroom. I got to you see, and they my business. You see, they my business. You know, as far as that tape where that man said he was a homo, that he tried to have sex with, he did not try to have sex with me.
I'm glad
he was acting super silly. He was acting super silly, and we laughed about it, and this man put that on the internet.
Yes.
That's the devil. See, the devil wanted to throw a wrench in there. That's a wrench at me.
Because they're taking your words and making it sound like he's homosexual or bisexual. So you should clear that up.
Probably, and what you are in your bedroom is your business. That's your business, and that's the same thing with them girls that's on that panel. Now, anybody that was a minor, Robert, you're wrong for messing with minors. But I haven't seen a record of him messing with one since this case, since that last girl that says he met her out of court. And I haven't known him. That means the older he gets, the older his women get. So now you got to look at his intellect. Let's look at his women.
His women are getting older, maybe because he doesn't want to go to jail.
He's getting older. He's growing. Here's a kid that wasn't a teenager until he got 35 years old. Now he's 17 in the mind. Robert is a creator. Robert is a writer. I'm not trying to make him sound, but I'm not going to say that. But Robert has issues, and I wish that Robert would talk to someone and sincerely, with no conditions, to where your money can't buy you out of this. And I think that's what the people want. I think the people want him to
get some help.
They want to see his heart. They want to see his heart, because what they see of him and what these people are showing of him is a monstrous character. But Robert is a gentle person, really. He's a selfish person. But again, that's all that beast is in him, because he's doing everything that a beast does: steal, kill, and destroy. He has stolen people's careers. He has killed people's dreams, and he has destroyed families. But he is not aware of this truth.
That sounds horrible, Demetrius. That's horrible.
I'm telling you the truth, man. That's
a horrible person.
It's the devil. It's the devil. It's not Robert. It's the devil. That's all he's learned. His goodness is his song. We all have good and evil. We all do. We all do. But how strong is that evil in you? If you have no discipline and you're not punished for the things that you do, then you're going to grow up evil. If I shoot you in the leg and you don't do nothing about it, and I run into another situation like that, and I shoot you in the leg and you fix it up and clear it up, and I shoot you and kill you. Now I'm growing in this. I don't care nothing about shooting you. I don't feel nothing. I didn't have to deal with that spirit. You see?
Okay.
And it's a spirit in a man that's evil. So, and when you look at it like that, that's a sickness that we can have to fix. And then you have to look at people, not just Robert Kelly. We have to look at each other from a high. See, my direction and my thoughts and my heart goes up to the Lord, to my Creator. And I try to have an understanding with Him. And when I have an understanding with Him, and what the Bible teaches me is that He loves us all. And if He loves us all, and I'm looking up from Him, and then when I look at Him and I study Him, then He gives me His eyes. And then I begin to look out. But I'm looking from high at you. I'm looking from up at you. And I love you.
Demetrius, I think what people, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but one thing is I know God loves us all and He forgives us, but we still sometimes will be punished for our sins. And so I think that's what people want, is for Him to get some help, but there's still some punishment attached. I'm not the person to make the decision.
But that's not your job to punish him. That's
what I said.
You got to answer to God. Now, the system will lock them up, and they're going to cut off the gift. See, now that's the devil winning. That's the devil winning, because you cut off the gift. Can you imagine what this boy is going to write once he goes through some treatment, some unconditional treatment where his money can't say you can come out? Not that we want him to go to jail to do this, because he won't come out, because they just ugly. Again, I don't think Bill Cosby should be in jail, but who's standing to fight for him? But yet we love him. Man, if I was Bill Cosby, I'd have went to I'd have went and hired. I'd have gave Farrakhan a few $1 billion. We finna do some separation now. Now I ain't finna go to jail with you, my brother. That's me.
Farrakhan talked to R. Kelly. Farrakhan already talked to R. Kelly.
And he said a spiritual thing that he took it to where it should be, because for that man to write the way he does, God's got to be all up in him. Now, if God's all up in him and you believe that, then we have to look at him as God looks at him. And God loves us all. When we look at our children and we neglect them, God will take them from us, because we all belong to Him. And when He takes them from us, then it gives us, then we left with guilt to say, where did we go wrong at? Because we neglected to love His child as He loves him. And that's how we all are with each other. So let me get out of here, because I
know you got another interview coming up, and I appreciate your time, and I will chat with you later. Thank you, Demetrius. Repeat the name of your book.
I also want to say that the name of my book is The Man Behind the Man Looking from the Inside Out. I'm setting up a website, a YouTube page that's going to allow people that purchase my book to answer questions, to have a one-on-one with me, to talk to me, and I'll answer their questions.
And I'll also
the people that have purchased my book, because
your PR rep also indicated that you were going to be doing a re-release of the book, some annotations and updates. So
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that, people.
My book is not a book to destroy Robert Kelly. I love Robert Kelly as Robert. This demon that's in him, and I want to have a one-on-one with him and kick his ass. So, let me get out of here. God
All
bless
right.
you, keep you. And I think that I just want to say to everybody that I apologize for my actions with Aaliyah, that I was younger, and I wasn't as wise as I am now. And I wish I could have did better. And everybody take care, and let's look at each other from a different eye.
Okay.
Because somewhere down the line, we're all connected and we're all responsible for each other. Okay? God bless you.
Yes.
Thank
all
you
right.
very much.
Thank you for the interview.
This call is now being recorded.
Google got video too.
Okay, this